I don't know every verse in the Bible. I don't know everything Jesus done.
Are you a Christian?
I am now, yeah.
Yeah. So did you connect with it more in jail?
Do you know what's important, I think, to connect with Christianity is to connect with someone teaching. That's what I felt was important. And the priests are so out of touch. The reason why the churches are empty, they are not relatable. Now, the imams are. The imam who come to my cell was a lad. He's a geezer. Yeah, he's wearing stone iron. All right, bruv, he's talking to you like that. That's the imams. The imams are at a street level and they're connected. Now, the pastor in who was an Asian lad as well in Wood Hill, I thought was brilliant. I thought was real, lived a normal life.
But your family, you didn't grow up sort of...
I grew up as Catholic.
Yeah, observant, church going.
No, I hated the Catholic Church over the whole paedophile thing. I despised it.
No, man. So you've got a lot to say about paedophilia in Islam, but it's today.
Yeah, they're the Catholic Church. Yeah, but my mum is a devout Catholic, so my mum is a real staunch Catholic. I'm not. Yeah, but then when I went to jail, the more I've seen an attack on Christianity, the Paris Olympics opening ceremony, the more I see them attack it and take the word Christ out of things, and then I started looking, thinking, well, what built Britain? What made this the best civilization in the world? It's Christian belief. It's come from Christianity. And then I couldn't believe when I went through the Bible, because I'd done Bible studies this time when I was in jail. Literally everything's from the Bible. Literally every saying, every phrase. As I'm going through it, I'm thinking, that's from the Bible, that's from the Bible. That's all the different things. And then I think that unless we get back, so even if you don't agree in Christianity or believe in Christianity, then the ethos or the 10 commandments of Christian life, it's a good foundation for society. It's about love. It's about forgiveness. It's a good starting point.
And you know what I want to say, because actually I thought about this a bit after I went to the United Kingdom event, and there was a lot more Christianity there than I'd expected. And I just found that very, very interesting, good and bad, as we discussed. But I thought to myself, actually, it was a very interesting moment for me, because I've thought a lot about unassimilated immigration in the UK and people who didn't adapt to become British. And the Jewish immigration story is really a successful one, as you said, that many Jews, immigrated and became very British.
And they're proud to be British.
Yeah, exactly. And, we say a prayer in synagogue every Saturday for the king and the royal family. And we sing God Save the King every given opportunity. I mean, when you go to like a bar mitzvah, half the time in the old days at least, they used to do like a toast to the king at the end of the event. It's a random thing Brits don't even do generally. But I thought to myself, since October the 7th, there's been a sort of resurgence in Jews identifying with their Judaism, and a lot of that has been channeled into religiousness. And I think that sometimes that we go through a crisis. I wonder what you think of this. We go through a crisis as people in our society and in the time we're in, where we feel there's something missing in our culture.
Search for it.
And we search for it. And what we come back to, because again, when people hear you saying that you studied Bible in prison, etc., I could hear eyes rolling. Oh my God, he's got Jesus, right? That's what I can hear people thinking, some people. And I wonder why in Britain that's such...
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that.
No, and you shouldn't be. What I'm saying is so many people, it's about religion, and they would say that about the march and the event as well. I think that there's an awakening in all of our cultures of people looking back to where those values that we thought were automatic come from. And they aren't automatic. They came, as you said, for you from Christianity. And you know where your 10 commandments came from? They were ours. So they came from Judaism. Yeah. And the point is that those fundamentals, not killing, not stealing, not murdering, I should say, not stealing, those automatics were not automatic when the 10 commandments were given. That's why they were given, because they were basic principles for human behavior. And it seems to me that the rediscovery of Christianity among, let's say, your movement and among Jewish communities, people going back to synagogues. I'm going back to synagogue much more often than I used to. It's fascinating. And did you ever think there would be this religious element to what you're doing?
No, never. And I felt it. Do you know, I felt something very... Christ is King, 100,000 people, Trafalgar Square. I just looked around and thought, what is happening? And I let a priest get up and talk, and I never was going to let a priest get up and talk. And I wanted a priest to start it because it was the day after the Paris Olympics. And I was so pissed off with what they'd done. I was so outraged. And then there was a priest there. I said, get up and talk. And I let him get up and talk. And I think that masculine Christianity is coming back. Not a weak, pathetic. Christianity isn't weak. It's never been. We wouldn't still be here if it was weak. Yeah, but it's become weak. The church have become weak. The church have become dissolute, disaffected from the community. And if you look at the figures, which has been real interesting to see, young men are finding church. And I think that the reason Jews are doing it and Christians are doing it is because when you're at risk, when you realise your culture identity is at risk, you look and search for a belonging, a belief, and people are finding it in Christianity. I think there's a Christian revival happening right now in Great Britain. I think it's going to happen across the West. I think that as people are searching. And for me to say that, because I was never religious, in fact, I thought it was all bullshit. I struggled with it. I still struggled. Do you know when I was in jail, what I said is, I don't want to ever stand and sound like I'm preaching to people unless I know every aspect of Jesus' life, which is why for me, I need to know everything.
You probably knew more about Islam.
I did. I knew everything about Islam and Muhammad, and I didn't know anything about Jesus. I never picked up a Bible. Never. So for me, and I've said this, so I don't want to preach, and I don't, and unless I know everything, that's how I am, and I like to be versed in everything, and I don't know everything yet, but I do believe that there is a Christian revival happening, and I think that there is a masculine form of Christianity that's going to rise, and it's going to be detached from the church. Do you know what I love? I love black churches. I love the gospel. I love seeing I used to watch some pastors now in America. Just think, see, I'd follow him. I ain't following him. I'd follow him. I'd follow that. I'd follow that. And I said to my pastor, the first thing I asked my pastor when in prison, I said, when Jesus said turn the other cheek, what did he mean? And he said, he meant hit me like a man. And I went, yeah, I follow you. I follow you.